Okay, I'm outside. It's a nice rainy morning. I'm going to be taking my first drink of this cold brew coffee that I just made using this Hillbond cold brew coffee maker. So this is my first time doing this, so I'm going to tell you a couple things about it, and then I'm actually going to try it and we'll see how it tastes. I'm a big fan of a French press when I drink hot coffee, and this seems to be kind of a similar device, except for cold brewing. So basically the process is quite simple. It has a glass container here, and then it has essentially a cylinder here in the middle that I'm going to pull out here, and you can see I'm not going to pull it all the way out because actually I guess I can. And that's what goes in the middle. So one of the questions that I initially had when I started to make this is there going to be an issue of overflow, and how much water do I actually put in the glass cylinder? Obviously you're putting room temperature water in, so whatever that's, whether it's tap water or I use a charcoal filter water. But because the cylinder actually has holes in it, it essentially is going to fill up, and it doesn't make a big difference. If you watch the water line there, when you push this in, you can see it doesn't raise the water level any. So what that means is you can essentially fill this thing all the way up to the top, or at least where the top line is here, which is for 800 milliliters. And then you can put your cylinder right in there and it's not going to overflow. Now, in terms of where the actual coffee goes, I'm going to put this right here and just sort of unscrew the top here. You can see that this thing actually comes off, and I'm going to tilt it in, and inside this cylinder here is actually where you put the coffee in there, okay? So you put the grounds in there, you just cap it off with your little cap here, and then you just put your water in there, your 800 milliliters, squeeze it all the way down, and you let it set, okay? You're going to want to let it set at room temperature for at least 12 hours. So I would recommend, putting it together in the evening, and then that way it's ready in the morning for you if you want to drink it that way. And then once it's been out at room temperature for at least 12 hours, you can actually put it in the refrigerator. So I've had mine in the refrigerator for about an hour or two now. It's nice and cold, so we can try it. Now, another question that I had initially was, well, how much coffee do I actually put in the internal cylinder in order to get the right amount of flavor? And from what I found online, it basically said you want to do 2 scoops, a standard scoop being a tablespoon of coffee per cup, okay? And if you just do the math, 800 milliliters, which is, filling up to the line there, is essentially 3.3 cups. So I would say try, anywhere from 6 to 7 scoops or tablespoons of your favorite ground coffee in your internal cylinder in order to get the right amount of flavor for your cold brew coffee. And of course from there it'll go to taste. If you like it a little stronger, you can add another scoop. If you like it a little weaker, softer, you can use less scoops. Okay, so let's actually pour this thing and try it. I'm going to stop the video, come back. Okay, so just from pouring, I found that if you actually look in your lid, there is a space. So you want to make sure it's turned open there. I don't know if you can see in the video, but that's actually going to allow you to keep the cylinder in place and still freely pour. I've added about a cup here to my mug, and then I've added some of my favorite cream, and we're going to give it a try. Yeah, I mean, that's very nice. I've had my fair share of cold brew coffee, and I can tell you that, well, like most things with coffee, I think the homemade stuff's a little better. This is a really nice taste to it. It gives me a really a good flavor profile of the actual coffee that I'm using, and it's kind of a little bit of a different spin on it. Obviously, drinking it cold rather than hot. So overall, this is a very little simple device. It's not expensive. It's easy to use. It's really just about time, just putting it on the counter and letting time do its thing. And it's a great simple way to make yourself a cold brew coffee. So I'm actually very happy with the device, and it actually has a nice look to it too. I don't know if you can see, it's pretty stylish, so it doesn't look tacky sitting on your counter. And because it's not too big, it fits easily in your refrigerator as well once you decide to refrigerate it. So great little product, I'm very happy.